the end justifies the means being fascinating. In a you know he's dangerous but you can't look away way, that he preferred to spend eternity in hell. Kind of person who would sell their grandmother for political gain. Florence loves its legends, but there is one name that doesn't just have a legend, it has a stigma. A name that follows you through centuries. Machiavellian, manipulative, ruthless, immoral, a kind of person who would sell their grandmother for political gain. But what if none of this is actually true? Today we'll be unmasking one of the most misunderstood figures of the Renaissance Florence, Niccolò Machiavelli. Not the villain, not the shadowy puppet master, but the man, brilliant, sometimes unlucky, and most importantly, weirdly relatable, and you will see why. Before stepping into this absolutely fascinating story, and to be honest with you guys, I loved so much preparing this video and doing all of the research for today's episode for this person. Before that, don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, and please don't forget to like and comment my video, because your likes really help me a lot, help more people to discover my videos, help more videos reach more people, especially now since we are moving formats and moving towards more history-oriented videos. So please, let me know in the comments if you like it, and let's go. Machiavelli's early life is oddly mysterious. We know that he was born into a noble but financially declining Florentine family. He studied law, Latin, classics, all the classical education for a nobleman of his time. Yet despite the austere reputation people gave him later, his letters reveal a man completely different. Niccolò was funny, like genuinely, actually funny, playful, sarcastic, even spicy occasionally. Niccolò joked about everything, politics, friends, even himself, and his colleagues here at Palazzo della Signoria adored him because he kept the office lively. Machiavelli traveled all over Italy on his diplomatic missions. He negotiated with the kings, popes, mercenaries, psychopaths and princes, sometimes all in the same week. His most famous mission was to the Romagna, where he met Cesare Borgia, the man who would inspire parts of the prince. And to be honest, Cesare Borgia was fascinating. In a you know he's dangerous but you can't look away way. Machiavelli admired him, not because he was cruel, but because he was efficient and he understood power like not everybody did back in the time, in the moment of a total chaos. And we can actually give credit to the prince for many myths surrounding Machiavelli. Like, for example, the infamous phrase, "the end justifies the means," being attributed to him. But the truth is, Machiavelli never wrote that, never said that, never mentioned it. You've probably said it more times than Machiavelli did in his lifetime, I have to say. But what Machiavelli actually said was that in extreme political situations, a true ruler must make difficult decisions, not because it's morally good, but because it prevents something much worse from happening. Another common misconception is that Machiavelli was a teacher of tyranny or that the prince was his personal manifesto. In reality, Niccolò's ideal government was a republic, a government of citizens, not princes. His other works, like Discourses, for example, support that, but many people don't even know they exist. The Prince was crisis literature, written in a moment of extreme chaos when Florence fell, when Medici returned to power, and when Machiavelli was trying desperately to get his job back. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, if you enjoy hearing all the stories and walking around Florence, discovering all the cool places with me, make sure to check out my Florence travel guide. You will find the link in the description box. And since Christmas is almost here, I've decided to make a little gift from me to you as a huge thank you for supporting me in this process, in this journey. And I am currently running a sale on my Florence travel guide and also on my Bologna travel guide. You will find both guides through the links in the description, and they're both discounted for a short amount of time just before Christmas. So if you are looking for a good Christmas gift from Florence or Bologna for yourself or your loved ones, make sure to consider it. In 1512, when the Medici returned to power after years of exile, and I talk more about it in my other video, I will leave you a link up here if you haven't seen it and want to learn more about that period, Machiavelli was accused of conspiring against them. He did not. But nevertheless, he was imprisoned, tortured, and eventually exiled to a tiny estate in Sant'Andrea in Percussina. There, in forced isolation, cut off from politics, depressed and restless, he wrote some of his most famous masterpieces, The Prince included. But did you know that he was also a master comedian? If you read the Mandragola, Machiavelli's last famous work, you might think that he was just writing a silly comedy, seductions, tricks, disguises, chaos. But beneath all the humor lies a moral and political message about the human duplicity, how people say one thing and do another, how private desires may drive public decisions. Sounds familiar to The Prince, right? After the Republic in Florence was restored in 1527, after years of political upheaval, Machiavelli finally got the chance to return to his office, or so he hoped. He applied, he set his hopes high, and then was rejected from the very same Republic he spent his lifetime defending. A short time after that, he fell gravely ill, and some contemporaries would have said that it happened from heartbreak. And even in his last days, his humor never left him. According to one story, delirious with fever, Machiavelli once said that he preferred to spend eternity in hell because it was full of great minds of antiquity. Paradise, he said, was full of people he couldn't stand. Honestly, I think it's the most Machiavellian thing he ever said, in the real sense: sharp, witty, and brutally honest. Machiavelli wasn't a villain, he wasn't immoral, he wasn't the patron saint of manipulation as some painted him to be. He was human. Flawed, yes, but also funny, ambitious, and endlessly curious about power, both its beauty and its danger. And I think this might be exactly what fascinates us today about him. Because behind all the myths and misquotes, he was trying painfully to understand the world as it is, not as we want it to be. So thank you so much for taking this walk with me and walking through this historical chapter together. And let me know in the comments, what do you think about Niccolo Machiavelli? Anyway, I hope that I managed to sway your understanding of this very nuanced historical personality. And I will see you next week with a new story as always.